Okay, we're recording. So, good job with your homework. Today we're going to have our second lesson on reading skills. Okay, we're going to take a look at figures of speech in reading. Okay, so open up your books to page number 304. Okay, 304. That's where we're going to start today. Okay, so our vocabulary word for this lesson, for lesson number 7, is propped. Okay, so it means to hold up by placing a support under or against. Okay, so for example, the camera is propped up on a tripod. Okay, propped up. It just means to hold something up. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this expression, figures of speech. Okay? So here's an example of a figure of speech. If someone says that he ran with the speed of light, it means that he ran very fast. Okay? It doesn't mean that he ran as fast as light travels. Okay? Because we know it's not possible for humans to move that fast. Okay? We know it's not possible. Can you think of any other figures of speech that you've read about in different books or that you've made up on your own? Figure of speech in English? Okay, so this one is talking about how fast someone runs. Can you think about a figure of speech that relates to the weather? For example, it's pretty hot in this room right now, right? Can you think about a figure of speech that relates to the temperature of this classroom? So for example, if I say, this room is as hot as an oven, okay, that's a figure of speech, okay? Because we know that it's not possible for humans to survive in an oven, okay? We wouldn't be able to breathe because the air is too hot. Say it one more time, Sally? No. Okay. Aircon is bananas. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. This could be a fan. Can you feel the fan? Okay. How's that? Chris, can you feel that? Okay, so, yeah, so if I say it's as hot as an oven in the classroom, that's a figure of speech. It's not literally that hot, but yes. I don't think this one spins. This one doesn't spin. Sorry. Alright. So, I just gave you an example of how to refer to the weather, okay, or the conditions of the classroom using figures of speech. What about if the weather is really cold? What if it's really cold inside of a classroom? What's a different figure of speech you can use? What can you say? I just said it's hotter than an oven. What's the opposite of hot? It's cold, right? So what's a figure of speech you can use if you want to express that the room is really, really cold? Freezer. Okay, good. You can say it's colder than a freezer in here. Or it's as cold as a freezer in here. That's a figure of speech. Okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to read a story. Okay? When we read the story, you have to keep your eyes out for, or pay attention. I'm going to read the story, so listen for any figures of speech that you may hear. Okay? And then at the end of the story, we're going to answer the review questions. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read this second part of A Lesson in Faith carefully to discover the author's purpose. Okay? Another word for purpose is reason. What's the author's reason for writing the story? Okay? Everybody has a reason behind everything that they do. Okay? So, here it goes. Paragraph 1. It was a hot June day when Jeannie first saw the little chipmunk. She had been sitting in the kitchen thinking about how she would soon go to the hospital for her operation. The chipmunk caught her eye when when she saw him hopping back and forth among the trees in the backyard. Okay? From that day on, Jeannie wondered if she would be able to tame the chipmunk. Yeah, a chipmunk isn't a squirrel, but they're in the same family. Chipmunks, mice, hamsters, they're all considered rodents. Okay? Chipmunks are a lot cuter than rats. People don't like rats, but chipmunks, they look cute. Okay? You like chipmunks? Yeah, okay. So let's take a look at that, at one of the words in that paragraph. Let's see. She said she wondered if she'd be able to tame the chipmunk. Do you know what that word means, tame? She wanted to know if she'd be able to tame the chipmunk. What does that mean?
Raise.
Yeah, raise the chipmunk or control it. Teach it how to be obedient to a human. Okay? So every day she would sit inside the kitchen door and call out to it through the screen. Okay? Number 3, Squeaker, Jeannie called. She had named the little chipmunk from the sound that he made. Okay? Squeak, squeak, squeak. That's the sound he made. Okay? Jeannie hoped the chipmunk would come to the back steps. Maybe it would even come into the house. Okay? Jeannie knew that she would need to use a walker for several weeks to get around after her operation. She wanted to train the chipmunk to come into the house for nuts. The screen on the back door was torn at the bottom. This space was just big enough for the little chipmunk to come in. Okay, so she really wants to have a chipmunk as a pet. Okay? Number 6, every day Jeannie called him by name. Squeaker, I have a nut for you. Okay? But Squeaker would not come near the door. Why do you think the chipmunk was afraid to come near the door? Why? So, yeah, because it's a human. Okay? That's not what he's used to. It's a human being. Okay? So Jeannie was disappointed. Okay? She said that the chipmunk's not coming into the house. She wanted her friend so badly. Okay? She's lonely. What? Is that a picture of a chipmunk? Yeah, they're cute. Yeah, much cuter than rats. Okay. That's a squirrel? They look similar. They look similar. Like I told you, they're in the same group of, they're classified as the same group of animals, but they have different qualities. For example, chipmunks don't have the black and white coloring that, well, squirrels don't have the black and white coloring that chipmunks do. Okay, and squirrels have more of a bushy tail, whereas chipmunks don't. Okay. Okay, so she wanted a friend really badly, so she ached with loneliness from being in this new town where she knew no one. Why wouldn't Squeaker come? She felt more lonely than ever. Okay, so the day before she entered the hospital for her operation, Jeannie prayed. She said, "Dear God, send Squeaker over to me so I can give him some food." Okay? But the chipmunk seemed too wild to want to come near the door. Jeannie went to the hospital and had her operation and stayed there a week. After she came home from the hospital, she spent much of her time sitting on a kitchen chair reading. Okay? She had to stay very quiet and keep her foot propped up on a footstool. One day, shortly after she had returned home from the hospital, Jeannie was in the kitchen chair as usual, reading a very good book. Suddenly, she felt a light touch on her bandaged foot. Wow. Jeannie looked down and her heart leaped. Okay, so the way of saying her heart jumped. There stood Squeaker. Wow. Okay. The tiny chipmunk had come quietly through the hole in the screen door. He was stretched to his full length, his tiny paws placed on her foot, and looking at Jeannie. Okay? Yeah, Jeannie. Alright? Let's see. Number 13. Jeannie, hardly breathing at first, began to speak softly to the chipmunk. Squeaker, how long have you been here? I didn't hear you. She held very still so that she wouldn't scare the animal. Okay? Number 14. Squeaker continued to stand and look at her with his bright eyes. He didn't seem scared at all. Okay? Alright, so for number 15, give you a chance to read. Who wants to read paragraph 15? How about we start with Stella?
Why?
Why not? I'm just gonna take this first. I'll put it back. Okay, so Jeannie's happy. Okay, she has a friend now. Paragraph 16, how about Chris? 16. Yes, please. Good job, thank you. And what about number 17? Selena.
Why you?
Yes, we said why you?
That night when father came home from work, he had an exciting story to tell about Slipper. Father, mother, and Jimmy thought police were waiting him first. Jimmy's period. Jimmy believed that God had sent the little gentleman into her life to her pain of loneliness.
Loneliness, yes. Number 18, Ellis.
Me?
Yes, you.
Everybody has their beautiful crowd of broken skin and claimed his house on Jimmy's
Bandage.
Then he would come over, stand up, and take a nut or pepper, spread his peanut butter. He placed his house on Jimmy's head and
Good, good. And what about number 19? Sally. Sally raised her hand, so Sally, you can read. That's you.
There's not really
I'm sorry, what's your name? Is your name?
Sally.
My name is Poppy.
Okay, Sally, go ahead.
My name is Poppy.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Go ahead. Very good. So, what did you think about that story?
Good.
It's a good story? That story, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel happy, sad, both? Happy? Why? Why does it make you feel happy? Because she has a new friend. She was lonely, but then now Jenny has a new friend. Okay, so she's happy. Okay? Alright, now, this word here, everybody, purpose. Okay? Purpose. So, the purpose of reading this story is to find out what the author's purpose is for writing the story. Okay? Now, an author may not always say why he writes a story, but through careful reading, okay, by reading the story, paying attention to the details, okay, we can get an idea of why an author wrote a story. Okay? So let's go ahead and answer the review questions right now together as a class. Question number 1 says, what is the writer's purpose in having so many sad events happen to a 9-year-old girl? What do you think? What's the reason behind him allowing the story to share these sad events that happened to this little girl? She had to get surgery, she was lonely. What do you think? Did he do it to show that life can be cruel to both young people and old people? Did he do it to show that our faith in God can be tested in many ways? Or to show that feeling sorry for yourself is a normal thing? Hello? Third one? No, that could be. That could be. But the best answer is the second one, okay? Because we know that the theme, like the main idea of this story is faith, okay? So, how was her faith in God tested in this story? How would you say her faith in God was tested in this story? What did she experience that caused her to want to pray to God? What happened? Big baby? No, it wasn't because she was a big baby. No, not because she was a big baby. Okay? What happened was she felt lonely. Okay? So what she did was she remembered that she could pray to God. Okay? So that was a test for her. Would she trust that God would answer her prayer? Okay? So that was the test. All right, question number 2. What is the writer's purpose in showing that Jeannie felt sorry for herself? To show that she was a big baby? No. It may seem that way, but that's not the best answer. That's not the best answer. To show us how much she had changed by the end of the story?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? In the beginning, she's lonely. At the end, her prayer was answered. Okay? Number 3. What is the writer's purpose for using a chipmunk? The first one. Okay? To show that one of God's smallest creatures can be used to show his love. Okay? Show his love. Show God's love. And what about number 4? What do you think is the author's purpose when Jeannie no longer calls for Squeaker? After her operation, it says, first, who said the second one? Alice? Selena, yes, you're right. Yes. Okay? To show that Jeannie has given up hope of making friends with him. She became sad again. But her sadness quickly turned into happiness. Okay. Number 5. Number 5 says, what do you think was the writer's purpose for this story? Why do you think he wrote this story? 2? Second one?
Third.
Yes, the third one. Okay. Okay. Now let's go over that answer. How does this story show that God works wonders in his time? How do we know that he works it in his time? Why is that true? Who can articulate why that answer is true? That God works wonders in his time and not in our time. What happened? Why is that true for Jeannie? Why is that true for Jenny? Jeannie in the story. Not Jenny, Jeannie. Stella, you want to take a try? Why is that true? That God works in his own time and not in our time. Okay, I'll help you. Okay? So when Jeannie prayed originally, God didn't answer the prayer right away. It took some time. She had the surgery first, and then eventually, when God decided that she was ready for the prayer to get answered, he did it in his own time. Okay, good. Number 6. What do you think is the author's purpose and not making an end to the story, because we don't know what happened, right? Maybe the chipmunk, he bit Jenny and he ran away, or maybe he left and he never came back. What do you think? Number one, to show that life continues and nothing really ends. Wow, that's a possibility. Okay. 1, 2, 3? No. 3. 3 is the best answer, okay? To show that once Jeannie had found faith in God, nothing else really mattered. Okay, nothing else really mattered. And number 7. The words that you need to italicize, okay, because they're not italicized in your book. For question 7, you can just underline flooded. You need to know what flooded means. Okay?
2. 1. 2.
Yes, 2. Okay, she became very happy. Okay? Her heart didn't actually fill up with fluid. Okay? So again, when we see that in question number 7, that's another example of a figure of speech. Okay, it doesn't mean that her heart literally flooded; it just means it was filled with joy and happiness. Okay, understand? And happiness. Okay, so for number 8, we need to underline beyond. Beyond, yes, underline beyond. That's what we need to find out. What does beyond mean in this context? It says she had suffered. Okay, suffered means she had gone through pain or hardship. Okay? 2? Let's see. To the farther side, no. More than, okay? Beyond. Okay? It means more than, to go further than you're capable of going. Okay? And what about number 9? Oh, wait a minute. So the word you need to underline for number 9 is 50-50. 50-50. 50-50. So, yes. 50-50. Half. Okay? So 50% chance that her foot would be better. And number 10, you had to underline. Let's see.
1, 2, 3.
No, not leap.
Down. Heart. Leap.
Well, it's a phrase. Her heart leaped. Okay, her heart leaped.
Heart. 2.
She was startled. Yes. Number 2. She was startled when she saw the chipmunk. Okay. Okay, so girls, do you have any questions about figures of speech or the author's purpose around the story? No? Everything's clear. Okay, so we can stop recording there for today. And I'm going to make copies of your homework on Tuesday, and then I'll grade those for you and give them back.